Hello and welcome back to the third rail. This week we're going to have a look at the Märklin electric level crossing reference number 7292M. I have just received such a level crossing. It came in a box that was used for this product between 1974 when it was introduced and probably the late 1980s. At that time, the packaging changed to a white box to adopt the color scheme that Märklin was deploying across its entire product range. Production for this item ceased in 2001. This item remained unchanged for its entire life cycle, so whatever the box, you'll get exactly the same inside. Let's have a closer look. In the box we'll get a set of instructions, which is always good. We'll also get the level crossing itself, which is made out of two parts. Both parts are absolutely identical. We also have some special sections of track, which will need to go in the middle of the crossing. The required wiring to install the level crossing, and in my case a few spares. Thank you very much, Mr. Seller. So I will tidy that all up and then we'll have a look at how this little thing works. And here we have a different view of the various bits and pieces. Our level crossing is automatic with electrically operated gates. This works thanks to little solenoids or electromagnets installed in each base part of the level crossing. Each base needs to be connected to the lighting circuit. The return to ground is provided to the base via these little tabs, which are connected to the track bed. For the gates to operate selectively when a train is present in the level crossing area, special pieces of track are provided. They perform a function similar to the one provided by a standard Märklin contact track. This is used in the Märklin system to operate accessories using trains. If you're not familiar with such things, each contact track section contains an isolated rail section between two cuts. This rail section is connected to ports on the side of the roadbed. When an axle drives over the isolated section, a current path will be established between the two rails, and current will flow through the ports on the side of the roadbed, thereby activating any connected accessory. These special track sections provided with the level crossing are nothing else than an elongated contact track. The isolation of one of the rails starts on each of the outer track sections, which both have a cut in the middle, isolating the rail from the cut to the level crossing. Both rails on the center section of track are isolated from each other. The isolated rail is connected to two tabs under the plastic piece, which will be locking into the tabs we saw under the level crossing bases. So with all these tracks put together, a car entering the level crossing area would close the circuit, so establish a current path between the two rails. This will cause the current to flow to the bases via the little tab under the middle section, and the gates will close. Once the car has left the area, the current path will no longer be active and the gates will open. So to assemble the track, we need to pay attention to their direction. There are little red marks or arrows or dots on each track piece, and they need to be aligned with each other. If not, the contact track section will not be set up properly, and the level crossing will be permanently under power and the gates permanently shut. Once the level crossing track section is assembled, we can then clip the level crossing bases on each side of the middle section. There we just need to pay attention to the little metal tabs. The metal tab from the track needs to be slided over the metal tab of the base, so between the tab and the plastic surface. And that's it. We are now ready to connect our level crossing. For the eagle-eyed among you, yes, I've set up one of my little tracks at the extremity of the level crossing the wrong way round. This was rectified later on. Let's have a quick look at the wiring. It's extremely easy. All that is needed is a single connection to the lighting circuit. We can daisy chain the two level crossing bases with a single wire, and then have a second wire run from one of the ports to the lighting circuit source that is to be used for the crossing. An important part is that you need to have common ground set up between your lighting circuit, if you're using a separate lighting transformer, and the ground connection used for the track. All very simple. Then it's just a matter of putting the bases in the right direction and assembling the crossing. So I'm now ready to test my new acquisition. So I've got out an old transformer, I've connected the level crossing to the lighting circuit, and I've set up a piece of track connected to the brown port on the transformer, which is ground, and I've connected that piece of track to the level crossing. And I'm now ready to test. I'm just going to grab a car and recenter the shot, then we'll be ready to go. So with the car on the track, what should theoretically happen is that if I push it along the track, as soon as it hits the isolated section at the beginning of the crossing, the circuit should close, there we go, and the gates should operate. So go down and then go back up when the car leaves the area. I've got a sticky gate that will correct itself. And I also have a burnt bulb, or a bulb that's not fitted properly. I'll check this a bit later on. But the crossing is operational. This is good. In this configuration, the level crossing operates a bit like a mechanical level crossing that Märklin also produced, in the sense that the gates will shut only after a train has entered the level crossing. That's not really prototypical. In real life, you'd expect the gates to shut ahead of the arrival of the train. To achieve this effect, one would need to extend the track section used to control the level crossing. And Märklin, in their wisdom, produced some special tracks for this purpose. There are two types: a straight standard length track section, reference number 5115, and a radius 1 curved track section, also of standard length, reference number 5116. These track sections have an entire rail length which is isolated from the roadbed, and they are meant to be inserted inside the control track section for the level crossing. If you use anything else to extend the track section, you'll only achieve one thing, is that your level crossing will be permanently shut. So setting them up is as easy as the rest of the track section. There are little red markers on each side of the roadbed indicating which side of the track is isolated. So it's just a matter of inserting the track sections into each other, taking care of aligning the red markers. And once that's done, we can reassemble the level crossing, and we now have an extended control section for the level crossing. So let's have a look at the behavior now. So I've left the level crossing in its original configuration on the left hand side, and I've set up the extension section on the right hand side. The coach will only operate the gates when it has entered the level crossing on the left, and as soon as it exits that area, the gates shut. If we push the coach over the level crossing, we can see that the gates remain shut for longer after the coach has exited the level crossing. Same in the other direction, the gates will shut earlier, well before the coach enters the level crossing area. There we go, pretty simple. We've extended our control section for the level crossing. So I think it's time to grab everything and move to the layout to set this little thing up. There we are on the layout. I've chosen to replace one of my mechanical level crossings, which is located next to the depot area. I happen to have also a lighting circuit distribution plate there, so that should make the connection easier. I'm going to take the old mechanical level crossing away, as well as a bit of straight track ahead of it, so I'll be able to do a long control section in that area. I won't be able to do anything after the level crossing because I don't have a curved track to do that, but that should be enough for now. It's just a matter of dismantling the level crossing, the track and the catenary. Then I can install the control track section for the level crossing, reinstall the catenary, and my control section is all set up. I'm now ready for the installation of the level crossing. I can now clip both level crossing bases onto the plastic track in the control section. There we go. And then I just need to connect the lighting cables to the relevant ports. And I can now plug the level crossing into the lighting circuit distribution plate in the area. Excellent, all done, ready for a test. So let's grab a little wagon and push it over the area. That's working. Yeah, fine, no problem. It works in the other direction. It stays closed longer on the longer side of the control section. And let's try with a train now. Excellent. Let's go in the other direction. That works too. Brilliant. Let's have a look at this from another angle and see the effect. Well, that all looks pretty neat. It's a nice little addition. It's another gadget on the layout, and I'm quite pleased with it. Right, that's it for today. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'd like to thank all the subscribers to the channel. It's very rewarding to see that people are so interested with the content, that they subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of new uploads, and sometimes give me a like. Thanks again for that, and bye for now.